A good example of the credible threats from even during the great, or during the pandemic is when they set up a special purpose vehicle to backstop the corporate debt. This was
Mm.
a really important one. They had 13 lending facilities. There was all kinds of news about all this stuff, but there was one in particular, just one, this one. I mean, there was all kinds of them, but the one in particular, the corporate debt lending facility, they had established this special purpose vehicle, which is an entity that's separated from the Federal Reserve and the Treasury. It's not, it doesn't have anything to do with, well, it does have something to do with them, but it's an entity that is separated away
Mhm.
from them, a special purpose vehicle. They set that up with hundreds of billions of dollars and then put out the narrative that they were going to be buying corporate debt. And this gets really confusing, but just that message going out to the media that they were going to be front or that they were going to be buying this corporate debt got the markets to start front running the Federal Reserve, thinking that they
Yep.
bought into the corporate debt, they would be able to then sell it to the Federal Reserve as they go into this process of buying corporate debt. That information alone was enough to get the markets to go out there and start supporting corporate debt. Corporate debt yields fell and corporations gorged on incredibly cheap debt, and the Federal Reserve sat back and didn't do anything. They
They didn't
bought a
do
little
anything.
bit of corporate debt, but
Yeah,
they hardly bought any. And
you're right.
this is the credible threat theory, and kind of wrapped up in a nutshell. It's complicated, but
No,
really, when
it's
you start thinking about it, it's not. It's pretty simple. You just put out the forward guidance on what you're going to do, and the markets believe it, and they start
mhm.
acting as if it's already happened.
Yeah, it's funny. I love the idea of a credible threat. What I've told my audience for years is the Fed only has two tools. There is their every 6 week meeting where they make a decision on rates.
Yep.
But then I always say it's their voice. What are they trying to communicate to the audience? And again, we have to realize there's 18 members. They all have their own voice. They all say their own things. But when they give out their forward guidance, maybe some people call it the dot plot, they have to know that that item will cause market reaction. And
Mm-hmm.
boy, did the dot plot this time cause a market reaction.
That's right. And we also kind of have to understand what it is that that dot plot is. It's going off of the current conditions that they are experiencing right now. Like if this was to continue, right?
Correct.
Now you start throwing something in there, you throw a war into it, you throw like some kind of disruption to the financial system, something or other, then that dot plot begins to change, right?
Mhm.
But this is off of the current projections from what they are experiencing within the economy today. They're seeing the inflation come down, they're seeing all this other stuff. But if we start running into issues where all of a sudden, say you have like, the manufacturers of the world have slowed down, and you start having issues with new products coming into the United States over the next couple of years, you might find where inflation starts to come back. All of a sudden, that dot plot starts to change. And
No
this is
question.
again like it's more of what they are seeing taking place today, and it's not all of them. It's just it's a handful of them. Some of them don't see any change. Like they anticipate that there's not going to be any change to the interest rates all the way into like 2025 sometime.
Yeah.